Welcome to the No Horsing Around podcast, guys. Zach Boyd, one of two dudes back talking Colts football. And this one's going to be the Wyatt Law podcast edition. Wyatt's been a longtime fan, friend of the show. He had asked us a question to kind of ponder, and we've spent some time on it, Stephen and I, back and forth. And I just want to give you my thoughts. Wyatt's question was, what do we do about the Colts quarterback situation moving forward? Would you look at next year? Would you go out 2 years? How would you handle that situation? For me, I believe it's very fluid. I think the expectation, if all things are good and everything's healthy, I think the expectation for the Colts would be able to have an opportunity, at the very least, to have 3 years out of Matt Ryan. Might not happen. He might just play one really good year and then start going downhill. But to answer his question and to not dodge it, I do not expect the Colts to draft a quarterback next year. I know it's supposed to be a pretty good draft class, but I don't think it's probably going to happen. And that's all dependent on where we're picking, what we would have to give up to move up in that top 5 area, to get your franchise guy. I don't see a scenario where we would sit a guy 2 years. So probably more so, I'm looking at the 2024 draft. I think that's probably more realistic. Who knows how long Matt Ryan's going to play, honestly. Like, the guy seems like he's doing all the right things. He's still in very good shape. If we can keep him healthy, I mean, hell, he might play 4 or 5 more years the way the NFL's going right now. He certainly takes care of his body and does all of the things that you need to be ready on game day. He's been a very durable quarterback as well. I mean, everybody should know and have that noted in the back of their head. Knock on wood, as a Colt, he'll be the same. But he has been a pretty durable quarterback, willing to play through some of those bumps and bruises. He's a gamer. I mean, I really believe that. And I think he's probably going to get 2 or 3 more good years out of him. I'd have a hard time believing, what we do. Why it really got me thinking about this and like, well, how would you handle that? I say everything is possible, but most likely my guess would be that not next year. If Matt Ryan comes out and has a really good year this year, we have a playoff run. Wouldn't see any need in going out there doing that. And you probably can read the tea leaves a little bit. Nick Foles is your backup for the next 2 years, which means there's probably a steady 2-year commitment to these two guys being joined at the hip at this point. Wouldn't really make a lot of sense to bring a guy in. Obviously, you could cut Nick Foles if you got the right guy, but probably are going to roll with these two guys for the next couple years, I would think, and then transition. So this year's draft, probably not. I don't know. Next year's, it could be 3 years before we draft one. It really could. But at some point, we're going to have to swing. At some point, we're going to have to make a power play, and we're going to have to do something kind of unusual, something that we don't normally do, an aggressive move, because we plan on being very competitive the next couple 2 or 3 years as well. So it's not like you're going to be drafting, with a top 10 pick or a top 5 pick. You plan on drafting somewhere between 20 and 30. Hell, you hope you have the last pick of the first round draft. That means you got that Super Bowl ring, and let's hope that 3 times a charm. A couple years back, Tom Brady gets signed, win a Super Bowl. Last year, Matt Stafford gets signed, win a Super Bowl. This year, Matt Ryan gets signed. Let's go win a Super Bowl, man. Put good people around them, solid people around them, and see what we can do. I think we have a very good team. I think we're underrated. I think we're probably better off in that situation. Tend to play better as underdogs than we do when we are supposed to go in there and just kind of wipe the slate clean and everything. I think we play better with that chip on our shoulder. Our leaders really play well underneath those circumstances. Darius Leonard, always has that ultimate chip on his shoulder, and I think that's good for us. Everybody's expecting, with the big moves and all of the wide receivers moving around, Russell Wilson coming to the AFC, the young rookie crop with Joe Burrow, and the list goes on and on and on as far as talent goes. You got Herbert, then you've got obviously Mahomes, you still got Derek Carr in a loaded AFC West with Russell Wilson. It's going to be competitive, but it's all about the AFC South. It's all about winning our division, protecting our division, and putting another banner up to say, hey, we are kings of the AFC South. And that's going to be very special. I want to see it raised this year. I want to see us come out and play, just an inspired brand of football. We got a different voice on the defensive side. That's exciting as well. But I do believe, to answer Wyatt's question, I do believe it will be 2 years before we draft an NFL quarterback, possibly 3. Maybe not the answer you want, Wyatt. You let me know. Light us up in the comments. Guys, when will we select a quarterback? You tell me. You be the GM. Put your hat on right now. What would you do? How would you handle it? How would you maneuver this team having this veteran presence on there in a win-now mode? So interested in your guys' comments. And as always, I love you. Steven loves you. And we're out.